Hi there, welcome to this quick mini review of, here's a bit of a spoiler, the fabulous, pretty amazing game really, the Artemis Project. Absolutely superb game. I love dice manipulation games and absolutely adore dice manipulation games when they're done well. And this is pretty much, I'd say, right, my favourite dice manipulation game ever is Alien Frontiers. Other worthy mentions I would say is Euphoria from Stonemaier. And but this is right up there. This is...
Antoine.
Oh, Antoine. Donna's just reminded me, sorry. The pinnacle for me is Troyes. Some people might know it as Troyes, 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 but it's pronounced Troyes apparently. That is that's my favourite of all time, dice manipulation game. That gets a solid 10 for me. This gets a 9, could even be a 9.5. We played this 5 games in little over a week. My son, who's 12 years old, it's a hard time prizing him away from it's PlayStation he's on now, isn't it? It used to be Xbox. PlayStation, it's really hard to get him off that or the Switch. And he loves this game, doesn't he? And he said it's the best game he's ever played. And we tried to he has played quite a lot of games. And he gives it a 9.5, doesn't he? 9.5. He gave it a 9, and now he gives it a 9.5 out of 10. We've just finished playing a game, the 5th game of it. And he came last. But the game before, he won, didn't he? He won by 2 points. He won me by 2 points. He got it right up, good score. And he's been doing consistently well. But this time, I think he lost his concentration a bit. He was playing with the dog in between turns and things. And so Donna came second and I managed to get a win this time. It's great. It's a really, it's a fun game. And I'd say it's one of those games, when we first played it, I thought, ooh, it's quite, I can see it's got potential. Oh my God, once you play it a few times, and there's quite a lot of mechanics here, when it all just sits into place and the game shows itself to you, there is so much you can do. And we realise now, and it's not until you played a few games, I don't think, until you realise there's quite a bit of like poker facing on it and not revealing your hand almost where you're going to place dice. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to go early on in the round and be maybe start player to get one of the buildings, because if you place a 6 on a building, as long as you've got the resources to pay for it, you're guaranteed getting that building, because the die that has to go there has to be higher. So it could be worth going first. But if you go first in a round, when you're placing for resources or to get new men or to go on expeditions, you've shown your hand, and other players will do dark deeds, if you like, and can easily gazump you, can easily outbid you on different places and things. So it's got so many layers to it and so many things to balance out. It really can get quite thinky and get quite fun. On a number of occasions, Sammy surprised me. He's absolutely stiffed me on a number of occasions, hasn't he, Donna? Yeah. He's really stuck it to me. I mean, just with it like a killer blow with his last die, he's just placed it there. And then he'll give a little look at me and I'll think, right, okay, I'll have you. I'll get you back. It's a lot of fun, this game. As a quick, very, very, very quick, because you can look for comprehensive rules overviews. I mean, you've got everything so functional as well. I say that, and the components are glorious. The only thing I would say is the board could be done. The board, look at that artwork on the board. It's sensational. We've got the underwater bit here, and there's the above land. And we're on Jupiter, the ice planet, and it's very, very cold. And it all makes thematic sense. But look at the artwork. I mean, look here for the look at the like retro ship there. It's like a bit of a Thunderbirdsy sort of thing going on, isn't it? You know. And here's the station and everything. And we've got the underwater bit, and you've got the freezer mechanic where you can freeze a die out and stuff by getting other players, giving them a bit of a hard time and things. And even if you don't get stuff, you've got this little track here that, you know, as a consolation, which is decent. It's good. It gets you good stuff. there's a few little rules that are dead easy to overlook, even though it's not a difficult game. And we place two, what are these fuel? What do we call not fuel? Energy. I call them fuel because you use them to heat your guys up, but that are left out in the shelters, keep them warm. But we put two here to remind us that you pay two per guy that comes in on the ship here to hire new colonists. But basically, you've got buildings over here, and if you see on the board, it's stepped round. We've got this. This is the Kickstarter edition, and this will actually show you going through the stages 1, 2, 3. So you execute. But first of all, when you place in the placement phase, everybody's going to place one die. You'll roll up your dice, and a low number can be good sometimes. It depends what you're going to do. We put them in order there. You don't have to, but it's just easier to do. So I've got 3 5s, a 2 and a 1 there. Now, if I wanted to definitely get a building, I could chuck in a toolbox. Toolboxes manipulate dice. They can go up or down. Oops, I'll pick that up in a minute. So if I chucked in one toolbox, that could either go to a 6 or a 4. If I put it to a 6, and I definitely wanted this building here, put it on there. Nobody else can go there now. I've got it. But I'll need 6 minerals to pay for that by the time it comes to execute. So you've got to be pretty careful. There's an event is going to trigger each round. We put a little peg on there to do it. Adds a lot of fun. Some are good, some are not so good. As in some are bad for you. Going here, there's a great bump mechanic here. So for instance, if there's a pile of minerals here, and this gets dictated by on the cards that come out, it'll tell you how many to feed into these areas. If I went here with a 5, thinking, well, I want 5 of them, but then Donna went here with a 4, she would go in front of me because it's the lowest number, bumping me along. So she would get first dibs. But what would happen then if Sammy then went in with a 4, because there's a 4 already there, he pushed me along. So 8 of these are going to get took by blue and purple. 2, 4, 6, 8. And where that has not frozen me out with the freeze mechanic, it has only let me get 2. If somebody else had gone in, if Donna thought, well, I'll go in there, I've got a 2, I'll go in there with a 2, that would go at the front. All them dice would have gone, now would have got frozen out. Because I got frozen out, I would go up on this track here, and the first item I would get would be 2 toolboxes. These are the ones that let you manipulate dice up or down. As you go up this track, you can pick any preceding item from it until you get to the end, and that's the end of it. But none of us have ever got to the end of there. So that's once you get the buildings, you're going to need men to man these buildings. If you can't place them, they're in your shelters, and for every man in your shelter, at the end of the round, you need to pay a energy to keep them warm, or you lose them and they go in this ship here. This one's going to need, and I made this handy little player aid, just pasted from the book, but the tans are pioneers, the blues are engineers, the reds are marines, and the purples are stewards, and there's their emblems for them there. And I put the handy dandy final scoring, which is pretty neat, but there's quite a lot of bit of scoring. Once you get used to it, it's great, and you can work towards that scoring. But you need to man it with the various people, so I'd need a purple there, a tan here, a blue here, and a red here to score them 4 points at the end of the game. There's some like that are needs less men to score. I think Sammy picked, no he didn't. There's one here just needed 2 reds. But what this is also doing, you get a point for having one of each colour. And there's a set of each colour, so that's really going to be worth 5 points at the end. I won this game with this combination because I had 8 buildings, which triggered the highest of the buildings. Although Sammy did have lots of, when you complete missions, there's missions over here. And to go to a mission, you will place, for instance, say I placed a 5 here on my turn. That needs 10 to complete that mission. So, or let's say I put a 6 actually. And then later on, nobody was going to complete this mission. There's how the screwage comes in. And I thought, well, nobody's going to complete that mission, so that'd be a dead die, because unless the mission's completed, Nobody's going to get the rewards. So if I then put a 4 there, that mission's completed. But then Sammy will come along for his final die, say he had a 1 or something, and just chuck a 1 there, and he's become second place there. So he's going to get one of these things. If he hadn't of, because the mission's completed anyway, I would have got both. I would have got the 2 victory points, and 2 men would come out of this shapeshifter ship here. They would actually come out when it's seeded, and 2 men would come on, and I'd get those guys as well. But also, I get a badge, a mission badge, and these collect at the end of the game and score points for the amount of badges. Sammy's just picked that up for me. Thanks, Sam. But if one person completes a mission, you only get the 1 badge, but they're worth collecting, and you do need them for scoring points at the end. But there's lots of screwage can happen there. Come in here, you've got the freeze mechanic with the bumping, and that's going to get you your energy. Is it energy again, Donna? I keep saying because I keep on fuel. Here's your minerals. You need minerals to pay for what you're bidding on here. If you hadn't put a 6, for instance, say you put a 3 and say I wanted that, then Donna could come along with a 4 or even a 5 and outbid me. But then Sammy could come along with his 6 and outbid again and get them. But you need to pay with minerals. That's here, coming along here. If you place a 1 or 2, you can get 1 man. 3 or 4, 2, or 5 or 6, you can get up to 3 colonists. But you have to pay. We put these 2 fuel here to remind us, because we were forgetting. You have to pay 2 fuel per one coming in, and each round it'll be 1 per player coming out plus 2, and up to a maximum of 12 in here. And that's how you're going to get your new colonists to occupy your buildings and stuff. You can also send men out, the colonists, and they all do different things with your dice over here. As you send a die out, you could, for instance, if you pay a fuel, or these are referred to just as resources, a fuel or a mineral. You pay either a fuel or a mineral. For instance, if you put a tan guy out, that is now a 7. So you got the highest number there, even if somebody else put a 6. The lower die down, if they're the same, breaks ties. If you send a blue guy out, as long as the mission's successful, you gain 2 resources of your choice. If you send a red guy out, now the red ones are Marines. These normally do, spiteful stuff on other players. So you send 1 out, you reduce an opponent's die by 1. Or 2, not below 1, so 1 or 2. So, pretty nasty. If you send a purple guy out with a 1 or a 2, only if you earn a reward, gain 1 victory point. So you can send them out there as well, the guys. Coming over here, this is where you'll retrain your guys. So you can send a die out here, depending on what number you sent. If you wanted a red, a marine, a 3 or a 4, let's say we put a 3 there, and you just send one of your guys with it. You can even pull him off a building. If you want him to turn him into a red guy, you're retraining him, and he'd go here. And in here, seeded at the beginning of the game, there's 4 of each bar the tans, because you start with a tan. And they'd be here, and there'd be a pool of them here. And when it gets resolved, he'd go into the ship that you placed, and you turn him into a red guy. And that's it. You're gonna get your expeditions over here, get the rewards off the expeditions, get a badge. You're going to collect badges at the end. If you haven't got any badges, so for instance, on the badges, if you've, where are they, Donna? I'm looking here. It's here. If you've only got 0 or 1 badge, it's minus 3 points. For 2 to 4, 0, which is what I only got 4 this time, so I got 0 points, but I didn't lose any. Sammy maxed out and got his 5 points, and I think you got 3 points, did you, this time? Yeah, so it's really clever how it works. For full sets of 1 of each colour, you're going to get 3 points for every leftover ones. You're going to get a point for every 3. For buildings, I maxed out. I got my 8 here. I got 1 for just 1. What? Sorry.
7.
Oh, sorry, 7, and I got my 8 points. For the fully staffed, there's another thing. So this is the timer in the game. There's a nice deck of these. I hope in a future expansion. So there's going to be 6 of these. One will come out each round, and that's the timer in the game. For the first third of the game, it's about getting resources and mainly resources. Yes, it's about getting resources. As long as the buildings are manned and you're underwater, and it's these oblong ones. And for the second third of the game, it's the surface buildings which are all about scoring points at the end of the game. And that's it. We've got this fabulous ship. If I needed 4 out, I just take them out here. If you get more, I just take them out blind. I've got 3 there and 1 more. So the ship works really well as well. I found it works perfect. I had a bit of an interruption there. The little dog Teddy's going to get stripped, so he was going a bit mad there because we haven't been seeing many people recently because of the not long coming out of lockdown in the UK. We might be going into another one soon by the looks of it as well. Right, so back onto the game. Absolutely fantastic. It's really opened it's only, I'd say, in the last couple of games or so that we've stretched this game out and seen the possibilities, the little bits of take that we can actually do that none of us were doing. First of all, we've still not used this little bit here. I've used it a little bit, sending guys out, Tang guys out, haven't I, to, what are the Tang guys called again? They're pioneers. Sending them guys out to add to the die's value. But I don't think any of us have sent the other guys out yet, and I'm really contemplating it. But there's so much each round to think about. And then there's really crafty, sneaky moves that you can do on other people as well. But it's never too bad. Because if you lose out to something, then you're going to have dibs on this little track here and get some pretty cool stuff off there. You do need your toolboxes. Having a good supply of toolboxes is pretty good because you can bump them dice values up and down. A terrific game. I believe, a couple of things. I'd say the artwork on the board is sensational, really different and very nice. It's all very functional, but I would say it could have been done with being a little bit bigger. We played this at 5 players, didn't we? First game was 5 players, and things did get a little bit crowded on this board. So it does. I mean, what's great as well is I think there's a solo mode in this, so it'll play 1 to 5 players out of the box. Fantastic. I mean, look at the energy, nice big cubes there. Everything else. I can see why these colours, all the different colours are different shapes, unique, and they need to be that size to fit on these and on the board. So if they expanded the board, if they went with larger meeples, they'd need larger ones of these as well, wouldn't they? With larger boxes to put them in and stuff. So there you go. But I would like a bit of a bigger board. I think that's about it really. I'll tell you what I would like as well. This track, this artwork is sublime. It's superb. I would like a larger board, maybe, a 4-fold board or 3-fold board even, and that was longer and larger. So this box here, it's such a compact box, it only just about fits in here, this stuff. So maybe they'd have to go with a more traditional square box or deeper box and have it with the fold board. Larger board, and I'd like this track here that's a bit fiddly, the score track, it zigzags. I'd like that as a traditional track right around the board. Would you? Don't? I would like that.
I like it as it is.
Do you? I'd like the track going around the board so you could actually see the people. I don't know. I prefer it, and then it would leave the artwork all nice. It'd leave more space to make bigger places, for these other areas. That's me. I'd like the score track round the board, and then maybe this track here more, rather than on a slant, more symmetrical is I think the word I was looking for. That's it. That's why I can't find a fault with the game. The player mats are totally serviceable, work perfect. You need them. You wouldn't want them much bigger because your tableau builds up in front of you. Some people said, I think, about this ship, leave it up. Leave the ship up. Don't keep taking it apart. It's solid. He's even got his boosters underneath and stuff here. And to me, it works perfect. I mean, if I wanted to get 5 out, give it a good shake, I'll get so many out now. What have we either got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I've got 4. There you go. I've got a 5th. It's so easy to use. These are all perfect. It's great. I'm going to paint these up. There's the start player token. And that's another good thing about the game. There's so many interesting mechanics. The person at the start of a new round, at the end of an old round, start of a new round, with the least resources, that's the energy and the minerals, gets to pick who the new start player is going to be. They're not automatically the start player, they get to pick. And sometimes, like I say, it can be good. Like if I was going to pick, often I give it to Sammy there, because then it come through to Donna and then to me, because I could see everybody show their hands, see where they're going to go. Other times you may even pick yourself because there's something over here that you want to get and you want to go in there with a 6 to actually nab it. And then we got this other little token here that goes round and marks how the game's going, the progress of the game. So fantastic package, really good, really good, fun, family, but for older players as well. For playing at conventions and stuff. This is a really good package. That is the Artemis Project. Easily a 9 out. Good solid 9 out of 10 for me. And Donna, what did you rate it?
9.
9. Sammy, what did you rate it?
9.5.
9.5 from Sammy. So that's absolute killer. That's it. Artemis Project. Thanks for watching.